really trying to figure out the right way to say this. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. I don't know what you're doing on April 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., but I really need your help. Yes, you. I need your help. Listen, because on April 26th, we are honoring 12 extraordinary young entrepreneurs of color from Western New York. We got Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Lockport, Amherst, and all that in between. So if you want to support these young entrepreneurs as we honor and celebrate them on this day, you can go to my website, Empower716.com, and tickets are only $50. And if you can't make it, buy a ticket for a friend to support these young entrepreneurs. Not only are they excelling in their business, but they're also supporting and making a huge impact in our community. So I'll see you there. Welcome to another episode of Empower716. I'm your host, Rob Laurie, and I am excited to share with you our special podcast here on a Sunday afternoon dedicated to highlighting young entrepreneurs of color in Western New York. And so if you have been living under a rock, we are preparing for our third annual Young Entrepreneurs of Color Awards on April 26th. And so our goal today is to bring awareness of this initiative that started in 2021. And I have some wonderful young people in the studio as well as virtually who are going to join us, and a bunch of partners and parents and committee members that are going to talk about the value what this initiative brings to the community and why it's so important. And so I hope you take time to share this live, because it's important to share the importance. We need to do so much to lift our young entrepreneurs in this community. So how you can help us is by sharing, engaging and adding comments and so forth into this. And so if you stay tuned, we're actually going to give away 5 tickets to the show, or to the ceremony. And that's going to be April 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so I want to make sure you stay tuned, listen to what's going on, share it. We're going to give away 5 tickets. So if you haven't got your ticket, that's the goal. And then we also have a second goal. The goal is we want to accomplish of selling 10 tickets throughout this podcast. And we're going to go from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And so we need your help. So if you have not purchased a ticket, you can go to Empower716.com, Empower716.com to buy tickets. They are only $50. And so I want to start off just introducing our guests. I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell us what year you are an honoree. And then we have some new honorees from 2025 that's going to be acknowledged on April 26th. And so I'm going to start to my right. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Tell us who you are.
My name is Anita Collins. I am the owner of Saints and Friends LLC, and I am 16 years old.
Awesome. Welcome. And then to my right.
Hi everybody, my name is Paula Pope. I'm the owner of House U&D. I'm also known by my sustainable workwear line, Undisclosed the Aesthetic. And I'm 25. I'm 26.
26, yep.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Khalil Carr. I am the owner of Everything Wonders, which also oversees Buffalo Fashion Week. I'm a film producer as well. I make movies. And I'm also 22. So
awesome.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm the oldest person in the room, so y'all making me look bad.
You said the year that we won, which 2024. So
2024
last year. So I'm old too.
You're old too? Okay.
Old too,
So I want to get from your perspective, Khalil. So you were acknowledged and honored last year, and just kind of walk us through that experience and what you took away from it.
Sure. First of all, it definitely felt like a huge moment for me in my career, my journey, because when the nomination process happened, I didn't campaign until someone told me that I need to start campaigning a little more. And I'm like, oh wait, okay, let me put this to work. But it was such an amazing moment for me because the whole process felt like I was in a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The experience of from the photos to the interview to the I believe the lady you brought on, she did her like digging. Like she went she got old videos of me from Facebook. And I'm like, oh my God, like, and she created such a story for me. And then when it played in front of everybody, it just felt like a moment. So that experience to me was exciting and rewarding because it's amazing to be awarded for what you do. You know, we're young entrepreneurs of color, right? And to go to an event where people are giving you flowers at such an early age gives you that push to continue your passion. And so that experience to me was just wonderful.
Awesome. So, Khalil, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your business, because you have a lot of things, and I didn't know before. You know, I tell people when you have your own business, sometimes you kind of like in the tunnel vision of what you're doing, and then when you see what other people are doing, like, oh, I didn't know you did that. So, kind of explain what you do in your business and some of the accolades that you got prior to this.
Yeah. So, I've been running businesses since I was 16 years old. My first ever business was a clothing brand called Wonder the Brand. And I did that probably for about a year or two, just sweatsuits. I just really wanted to get money. And it was saving me money to do a film. I'm a film producer. I love writing films. If you ever see my business right now, you see our commercials and our productions are always top tier because I love creativity. And so once that happened, I did my film. I saved up around $10,000 to $15,000 to put into like my first feature film. I premiered it at North Park Theater in 2023. That was such a big year for me. And I remember the news clip went viral on Facebook, but people was in the comments saying,
wow,
because I think the title was youngest Black filmmaker in Western New York or youngest Black filmmaker in the US. Like it was just headlines that really made people upset though. You know, some people was like, what? They were just being racist in the comments. And so it created a lot of traction and it made the theater sell out. And it was such a great moment for me.
Wow.
But after that, I was like, what's next for me? You know what I mean? I don't got money to do another film. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, what's next? And Buffalo Fashion Week sparked up. I said like at my speech, I was like, I love arts. I love fashion because I did a brand. I was like, what can we do in the city to really give the platform to people like myself? Like I felt so important that day of the day of my film. I walked out and was like, wow, people love what I just created. How can I give people that platform? And so I really invested in Buffalo Fashion Week right after that. And since then, I've been locked in doing that. And I do have some accolades. I got the Buffalo Urban League Rising Star Award. I got your award, Niagara Falls Filmmaker of the Year. You know, hopefully I'm still getting them in, but you know, so much. And I'm blessed to be able to tell that story. But yeah, that was kind of my journey.
The other question I have for you, so you know, we hear a lot of negativity about young people and sometimes a distraction, especially with social media and everything else, and balancing of, you know, I would say what they say, the young ages of where you want to go experience different things, have fun, but then being, you know, juggling what you're juggling. So how do you kind of stay focused and locked in?
How I stay focused is really just not wanting to be a failure. I beat myself up a lot. I have this delusion in my head, like if I just stop tomorrow, everything will drop. Business is going to fail. So I stay locked in that sense. And plus I just look at my family and I look at us and I just really want to win. You know, there's not a day that goes by that I'm sitting there like I need to get my family to do a new space, and including myself. So I stay locked in that point. But it's hard juggling, you know what I mean? And I feel like no one's really transparent about how people can like, I don't go on my social media and say, oh, I'm depressed right now. And I'm going through this. I have anxiety. I'm scared to do this. I'm scared to do that, because I just don't want to share that. But it's the truth inside of a business. And I'm juggling that. I also work at New Era where I work at a global brand where I'm helping doing marketing for them. And then I also want to continue to do my own thing. And then now I'm being pulled there and pulled over here. And then so it's so much to juggle. And at the same time, you still have to just keep forward, because at the end of the day, anybody can drop you. You can leave a job tomorrow.
Right.
I need my business, and I just really care about my future. So that's what keeps me locked in, and just staying focused on the vision, the prize.
Love it. So we're going to take a moment to watch a reflection of 2024. We have a kind of a recap video for those who didn't get to experience the Young Entrepreneurs Award in 2024. So we're just going to have a quick recap of the 2024.
My brand is 1221. It is a sustainable clothing brand that evolves around biodegradable clothing. I upcycle different pieces. I do reconstruction, deconstruction. I take them apart, put them back together. I use different items around the house, put on jeans, put on jackets, put on shorts, whatever the item, apparel may be. I put different things on them just to create a new story. Before COVID, I was still, just getting to know myself, trying to figure out, what do I like? What can I do to, express myself, express my talent? So it was just finding myself. Fashion is my passion. I worked really hard to get to where I'm at. I just started with just creating my business. The meaning of my brand, 1221. Guardian angels are looking over you. That spiritually connected me to start my brand, to start 1221, because that was the impact that those numbers had on me. The support that you need in all of this, it's really strong, and I'm grateful that I have the support that I have. If you have something, write it down on a piece of paper. Talk to an older friend, a family member, a teacher. Tell them your story. Tell them what's on your heart, and I'm pretty sure they'll make it happen for you.
Making a movie entertainment was established from my hometown, Niagara Falls, New York. It's a party entertainment business. I put events together. I'm trying to expand my crowd with people. I'm currently working on getting my business to an LLC, and down the road, before this year is over, hopefully getting a building and starting my own club. I just love seeing people happy, you know what I mean? I love seeing people having fun, having a good time. Where I come from, we don't have a lot of resources and stuff like that from Niagara Falls. It's a small city, so I'm just trying to, hold my end of the bargain and just bring back things, at being 18 years old. I'm just trying to do my best with being a young black male coming from Niagara Falls, just starting my own business, really being organized, having a balance with basketball. I'm in college, I'm a full-time college student, so just having a balance with all of that. It's been times where I'm it's rough, having basketball, school, and then my business, but you gotta find a balance, and it's you just gotta really want it. You gotta really want to wake up and breathe for it, just really want to be a sponge and learn and just be that person for your business. It feels so good to just know that you're doing something good out here, to make my parents proud. And like I said, I'm putting on for my hometown, so it's always good to have somebody like me and many other people that's involved in this award. That's a big accomplishment.
All right, so we got a glimpse to see two of the honorees, Rod and Jayla, from 2023 and then 2024. And so now we're going to just transition to 2025. As I said, our Young Entrepreneurs Award is going to be celebrated on April 26th. I said August, April 26th. And so we have two honorees, as they introduced themselves before, Anita and Paulay. What's your thoughts on what are you looking forward, and maybe kind of share when you found out you were chosen, what was your thoughts, if anything?
Shall I go first?
Whoever wants to go first.
So I was so excited. I was so excited. I actually was just kind of like going through my, just going through my emails on my daily. And then I felt like I originally overlooked the email. So when I came back, I seen it late at night. And it really just kind of showed up at a perfect time because I was like talking to my therapist about something. And then seeing the email show up, like when I seen it at night, I was like, like I was like, I know that's right. For real, all genuine though. But I was so excited. Like the first time that I had actually was introduced to like you guys doing the award was with Kev. He had got his award, and I thought that was cool. And then I followed up and I seen it with Khalil. And I was like, okay, like the guys is outside doing their stuff. So I was like, okay, T. And then my aunt had actually featured on a live podcast with you, I think maybe like last week or something like that. Okay. So I was just excited. Like, I was just like, wow, this is so cool, And I'm really big on giving people their flowers. So I felt like it was a really nice moment, to receive mine.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome. What about you, Anita?
When I found out, I just kept saying no. Because sometimes as like a business owner, you can feel like you're not doing enough. Yeah. And so I was in a very emotional state. I was excited and I'm honored for this opportunity, but I just kept telling my mom, I said, no, this is not real. My brother actually won the award in 2023. And so to see him be able to go through that and to strive into where he is now, it humbled me, but also it gave me motivation. Yeah. So I was very excited. I just couldn't stop talking about it. I sent it to everybody that I knew, everybody else on my phone. But yes, I was very excited.
Okay, awesome. So why don't you each of you talk about your business and give the audience a little more and capture into what you guys do.
So I am the owner of House U&D, which is a creative house, and we house different multidisciplinary artists who have different art mediums. So if you're interested in fashion, textile, or art, it really doesn't matter what type of art it is. We have members under our house who do culinary art, they're actual artists, performers and things like that. But I'm most known by my sustainable workwear line, Undisclosed the Aesthetic. And I actually created that line because I thought that it was important to bring a sense of self-expression back into the workplace. Yeah. The world is in such a progressive space now. And I just think that like outdated wardrobes and, restrictions and things like that are really just suppressing people's individuality. And I believe that when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do well. So I wanted to create a line that, just was more centered around like workwear, that was more specific to entrepreneurs or people with 9-to-5s. Like if you work at Geico or you do insurance or something like that, not necessarily corporate America where it's super like stringent, but like just to appease to those individuals, like I said, entrepreneurs, 9-to-5s, and even college students, because the first time that you're actually introduced to your profession is when you're in college, you don't want to be the kid to show up in your pajamas. So, I wanted to create something that just, gave people an opportunity to be able to showcase bits and pieces of their personalities or, things that differentiate them from other people in the workspace.
Now, do you think, speaking of like in the workplace, professionalism and clothing, do you see that has changed a lot? So, for me, growing up is that you had to wear a suit and a tie.
Yeah.
And after years, you get tired of that. So now it's like when I look at a suit and tie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to wear this. So, as far as that, is that something you kind of go into as far as giving more away from that standard?
I don't want to say away.
Okay.
Because I have customized and designed just, I don't want to use the wrong terminology, but like I have like designed more high-end like gowns and things like that, like we do offer that as well, I just think I just realized with working with the youth, I realized that this city is regurgitating youth that are not even seeing 9-to-5s, like they are jumping into entrepreneurship. Like that was all they ever wanted to do,
right?
And I think the thing that I understood about entrepreneurship was it's like, okay, I know I'm going to show up in this space and I'm showing up for fashion or, whatever the case scenario is. But I also want to, remain professional in a sense, so when I was growing up, I just kind of always looked like I was dressed for an interview. So they said, so I wanted to just jazz that up a little bit and just, give people the opportunity to start to get more comfortable with seeing people in different colors and prints and patterns and, just different things like that. Like just because, somebody decided to come in with a crocodile 2-piece suit doesn't make them any less qualified. It just makes them that much more fashionable.
Right.
And I think that it's important to just kind of build a respect around people's style and individuality for sure. Just because, like I said, we're in a progressive space. And I think, now would be a good time to just start respecting those things about people, because you never want to judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely not.
For sure.
All right, what about you, Anita? Tell us a little bit about your business.
So I'm the owner of Saints and Friends, and Saints and Friends is a faith-based clothing line. Our best sellers are our Worship Warrior shirts and hoodies, which it just simply means that through all of the trials and the tests and tribulations that we go through, we can war through worship. And I started this business almost 3 years ago on my birthday. Actually, I launched it on my birthday. But I was just going through so much with my grandmother actually having cancer. And then, just life in itself. It was my transition from middle school to high school. And then I went to a private school for high school. I don't know why I chose it, but it was just, change was hard for me in that season. So I said, let's do it. My mom she started making me do affirmations. So I'm like, okay, since we do it, let's show other people how we can do it, but wear it, because there's a way that we can say it, but not believe it. But once you see it every day and once you speak it every day, it starts to change how you think and how you go about your life and your day to day. So, yeah.
I love that. I love
cool.
that. So I want to just ask off my script question. Entrepreneurship. Everyone says, I want to be an entrepreneur. Now, your generation, content creator, that wasn't a term that we used back in the day. So everyone wants to be a content creator, be social media famous, so to speak, viral. How do you define entrepreneur? Because some people say, I'm an entrepreneur because I'm a content creator, but I don't have a business. So how do you define that? Anybody can answer that.
I'm thinking.
Okay, I'll go. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say that entrepreneurship is a 24-hour person. And where that simply states is you don't have to have nothing going on with your life, but if you pick up that camera and record, like just literally nothing, and just post it. My brother, we was actually having a conversation before he left for Boston, and he literally just said, if you post 3 videos a day with literally your face on it, like you're gonna blow up, because that's that's where your content creation comes in. So a 24-hour person, just literally continue with life, but record it simply. And just always try and have people around you that's gonna push you to because if you have a business, yes, that's entrepreneurship. But it comes with funds and it just comes with so much. So a 24-hour person, definitely.
Love it. Anyone else?
Unfortunately, I don't really know what I think entrepreneurship is, but all I think about is just getting to the bag. You know what I mean? If that's if that's content creation, if that's owning a business, I think somebody that is just passionate about getting to the bag in a different way, where it's like you're the boss, you're the leader. You can do this, and you write the rules. I don't know. That's what I think entrepreneurship is. That's how I envision myself as a leader. Is like I'm an entrepreneur because everything that's going on, I own it, right? Everything that I'm working on right now, my name's on it, and I'm creating strategy. I'm coming up with content. I'm doing my best to push it. So I think that's what I think it is.
I love it.
I really think that entrepreneurship is really just turning your dreams into reality without having a blueprint laid out. I think 9 to 5s kind of give you a layout on how life goes and, ultimately where it'll end. And I think that entrepreneurship is just saying like, I want to do this, I want to be this, and
Yeah.
I want to do it my way, and learning how to incorporate doing things your way, and then incorporating that equation to success, because it's real,
Absolutely.
like, so I think it's really just a mix up of chasing your dreams and just deciding in on something and just being like, you know what, I'm going at that full throttle, and however I can make that happen, you're gonna make it happen.
To make it happen.
For sure.
So before we, I'm going to invite two of our guests in as far as our parents and committee voice. But I want to ask one question about the process. Now, generally, everyone says they want to be a business owner or entrepreneur. You have this vision, you have this dream, and everyone loves the outcomes, the awards, the accolades. But the process, tell me how the process is and how do you get through some of the things of coordinating events, making sure the products that you have, getting them online, selling them. That process can get very tedious. How do you keep pushing?
From my perspective, one, to anybody listening, don't let the process scare you away from wanting to do it. Because I remember being afraid to start even the legal stuff. I was like, I'm just gonna keep it. I'm not gonna tell the state that I'm making money. But but don't be scared for that process. But it is tedious, right?
Yeah.
But it's, if you love it and if you're passionate about it, it becomes more of a passion project. You feel more excited to do it. For example, like we try to throw big events, and every time we end the season, me and my team, we get in like a boardroom, and I say, okay, we did 400 this year. Next season, we're doing 600, and they look at me like I'm crazy. And then it's now starting that process. How do we do that? How do we maximize everything we have at this moment? We have 100 models. We have these designers. How do we get there? How do we tell their story? How do we get in the community? Everything comes once you become super passionate about it and you set those strong goals. But it is a tough process. And when you have to go through getting insurance, liability insurance, finding the designers, making the content, getting the chairs. Like, chairs are expensive, y'all. Like, it's $3 a chair. If you want to see 500 people in a venue, you got to times that by 500. That's $1,500. So all that stuff is definitely tedious. But I won't let that scare y'all, because once you're passionate about it, the process becomes fun, right? It becomes like, yes, like we did it, the hoorah at the end. So hopefully I answered that correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to my process, I just take a really authentic approach. I win, I fail, I feel like your process is just made up of a bunch of wins and losses. You know what I mean? That ultimately are just like a bunch of experiences for you. But I mean, for me personally, I really like to lean on my village. I lean on my faith a lot. And more importantly, I just do what feels most authentic to me. Like, when it comes to my process, like, I just like to do what I know, because that's what I do best. So I just do everything that I can to make sure that I'm managing like my mental health, balancing my mental health, and just like my personal and my business life, because entrepreneurship can be very like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't know certain things, or you don't know, where to get, certain resources and things like that. So, I just do my best to make sure that, I balance, my personal and my business life. And then, I just kind of let God do what he do best. So
I'm sorry to cut you off, Anita, because I know you're about to talk, but I think that's important. I'm sorry, I don't want to make conversational, but
it's supposed to be. Go ahead.
Mental health and that balance is super, like, is a process that I didn't think about. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about the logistics, we talk about all the fun stuff, but like, how is the process getting up and doing it, right? Getting up and being able to get that done is like, I didn't even think about that, because I'm sitting there like, oh my God, that process to me, I'm like, that. Look, that's a whole different conversation, but I'm glad you brought that up, because that's super important for any entrepreneur or future entrepreneur watching. Is like, guys, like, take care of yourself, because I told my team before, like, I can't give 100% if I'm not 100%. You'll see it. You'll go to a show and be like, they didn't. Yeah, I know, because we weren't there. We weren't there 100%. We couldn't give it all because we were so overwhelmed. We were so stressed. So I said, if we're not 100%, we can't execute these things at 100%. So let's dial it back. That's okay. I mean, it's okay to not have the best, you know what I mean? Just be your best. And once you be your best, that'll be shown in your product. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. But for sure, because I remember my 8th grade Spanish teacher, she told me that I would be nothing in life. And so that's where it started for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It get like that though. It get like that.
So that is my motivation. That is what's keeping me going. Because as a business owner, it starts to get difficult and it starts to get hard. And it's some days, if we're being honest, it's like, I don't want this business no more. Somebody can take it.
Trust.
Somebody can literally have it. But I had to realize that sometimes what she said to me started to come up back in a negative way. And so I had to flip it and was like, no, this has to be your motivation, because although she should not have said that, it's motivating me to becoming that person that she said I would not be.
Right.
But with the whole mindset thing, it's like, I remember I was making a shirt one day and I was just not my best. I was not having a great day. And my mom was like, no, you need to come on, get these orders out. So I started with a shirt and it just didn't end well. And I was like, okay, so we cannot be doing this. So I just had to pray about it. And I just had to speak those words of life. It was like, okay, we got this. We have a business we have to run. And we got this. We can just stay strong and just finish it out strong. So definitely a mind thing for sure. Definitely having to stay 100% with whatever you do.
I appreciate all of you being honest, because that's one thing it looks very glamorous to some people, and then the mental that you always talked about is got to be intact. And so we're going to come back to that, but let's bring Shayna to Shayna, can you hear me?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
So Shayna, you've been involved since the beginning, and you're a parent of an honoree in 2023. And just kind of give some insight of your perspective of being involved, both as a parent and a committee member.
For a parent, my daughter was in 2020, I think she got the award. And for me, the highlight was when I got to see her picture on a billboard in Niagara Falls. The award was amazing, but when I seen her picture on a billboard, it just made me feel so proud as a parent.
Wow.
The atmosphere in that room, being able to walk around and talk to different people, hear different people experience, and the ups and downs of entrepreneur was amazing. Networking is key. Definitely once you get in that room, you guys are going to feel the energy. As a committee member for the 3rd year, thank you, Robert, for bringing me back on for the 3rd year. That's just amazing. I have been secretly just watching you build this Empower up, taking notes. So having a mentor is everything. Even if you don't talk to that mentor every day, just watching, taking notes from the people who are doing it. My goal is to be able to do an event like that at that size that the size that Robert does. So I just sit back and I take notes and I watch him build, and it's helping me learn a lot.
Awesome. And talk a little bit about the Niagara Falls and how's the vibe there in Niagara Falls?
We don't have a vibe. Niagara Falls, I have been doing business in Niagara Falls since 2017. I love my city, but I feel like I get more love in Buffalo. Just networking with you, and it's more people reaching out, bringing you on. So I'm hoping, one day the city will grow to that, but this is definitely a good platform for kids. Jaden is one of the honorees. He does Jaden's Journal, Jaden's Journal or something like that. His business is going around to help people in the community. So it's working. It's just taking a little bit of time for it to get out there, but I think overall, hopefully the town will get better.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Any advice for those who are watching from a parent perspective of how you support having an entrepreneur in the household? You kind of share that perspective.
As a parent, I think is giving your child the encouragement to keep going. Accepting failure, because failure is going to come. Don't run away from it. Don't be scared of it. That was my problem with my business. When it didn't survive. I just thought that I failed so bad, but I learned a lot from that failure. And seeing my daughter business grow, we have moments in her business where it's high and moments where it's low, but we're still on the ride and we're doing this together. So until we get to where we want to go with the business, like everything now is just learning.
Thank you. Anything you want to add before you take off? Anything you're doing business wise, or anything you want to share what you're doing?
Right now, I'm still working on Game On. I don't have my brick and mortar anymore, unfortunately, but I am now in 4 schools in Niagara Falls, so I thank God for that.
Awesome.
Even when the brick and mortar didn't survive, God found a way for me to keep my business going. My sister and I, we serve over 100 kids a week. So, and that's like bringing them in food, bringing them energy. So give yourself time to grow, because I'm still growing.
Absolutely. Well,
And
thank you so much.
congratulations to all of you.
Well, thank you so much, Shana. I appreciate you for always giving your insight and expertise into this initiative. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so we have. I want to give away our first ticket for the event, and the question. I don't even think you guys have a question you want to think we can give the audience for those who are in the chat.
Specific to like us or specific to
young entrepreneurs in general, not necessarily with the event.
Name every woman.
What?
I like that.
I think I got one.
Yeah, well.
What is something that if a young entrepreneur was to come up to you and ask you, or tell you that they were ready to give up their business and just throw it all away, what is a word of encouragement that you would give to them to keep going?
Okay. So how are we going to gauge that? So maybe the first, are we going to say the first one, or are we going to say, I'm leave that up to y'all, because y'all the
probably the one that hit the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of people give like it's like
keep going.
They give us like this.
Keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, just keep your head up.
It's like real cupcakey. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, well, if that's all it took, then sure.
All right, so we'll wait till those questions, and then Blake will let us know. I want to just transition to talking about our programming. So this year we added a 6-month virtual program for grades 8 through 12, and this is something new. And so Dr. K, because I'm gonna mess up his last name, so I call him Dr. K, and then we have Tamara and Zandria on as well. And so can we get all 3 of them on at the same time? You said Zandria, Tamara, and Dr. K. Yes. And these 3 individuals have been holding down the last 6 months of executing the program for grades 8 through 12. And so first, happy Sunday to all 3 of you. How's everyone?
Happy Sunday. Awesome. Happy to be here.
Well, y'all don't sound excited. Y'all know y'all went to church this morning. Got a little praise going on, right? So Dr. K, why don't you talk about first your experience? This is our first year piloting the program, and your thoughts, and then maybe kind of share a little bit about the program, and then we'll turn it over to talk about the facilitation of the virtual program. We keep lagging. All right, so I'm gonna go. Tamara, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. So why don't you start talking? Tell us about the facilitation.
All right, perfect. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties trying to unmute myself, but
well, welcome. So tell us a little bit about your role, and then kind of diving into the 6-month program.
Is that for me or Dr. K?
I think Dr. K kind of going in and out.
Right, so again, I'm the program coordinator.
All right, Tamara, I'm gonna have you pick up first.
Okay. All right. So my role this first time around, which I'm very excited about and honored to be a part of the program, is co-facilitator with my daughter Xandra. And it has been an amazing experience. We had an awesome group of young entrepreneurs join the program. They were eager, excited, really, really cool business ideas. I just had an opportunity to, present a really robust and comprehensive curriculum to them, taking them from, some of the young people that joined the program either were just kind of like working on an idea that they had, and just trying to figure out, is this something that I actually can do and make money and build a legacy around? While some others have actually been out into the world and, sold one or two or started this delivering the service, so they were at different moments, but everybody really was able to kind of eat off the curriculum and apply it to their business in real time over the last couple months. So it's been really great.
And what was like one of your biggest takeaway from these last few months?
How resilient the young people are, even when resilient in so many different ways, right? So as a young person, it's hard, when you're the only one among your peers that might have a business out there. Some of them, their families, are entrepreneurs, and they're pulling from the depths of their soul and looking at mentors like all of us to try to figure out if this thing could actually be a thing. So it's very scary. And then for us to kind of put them into this Zoom space, right, in a room, I told them we became like family, like a hive mind, a mastermind, if you will. It was intimidating at first. So, but each and every one of them that showed up, stayed committed, kept, chugging away, they built relationships with each other. So they were very resilient, not only with just fighting through the odds of like family, friends, other activities, lifing, they continued to show up, and they showcased their resilience in the room with each other. We gave each other constructive feedback, constructive criticism, which can be a little hurtful sometimes, right? Anytime you're in the room, you're sitting at the business table, you have to be ready for whatever. So
Absolutely.
These young people showed up and they showed out, and they kept coming back. And so that's what matters.
Wow. And before we go to our next guest, Tamara, why don't you kind of explain, like, you're in this space and obviously you are a parent or mom of an entrepreneur, and kind of explain like why you continue to be in the space. You're also you're a business owner as well. So what is this space like, and what advice would you give to others?
This space is a wild ride. However, it is an amazing opportunity if you really understand how to navigate it, right?
Yeah.
So in the space I'm talking about is family legacy building and entrepreneurship, because that's my zone of genius. I kind of fell into this, like many of the parents that are probably connected and watching us live today, because my daughter decided she wanted to start a business, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how cute this is going to be, right? And it went from being a cute 9-year-old idea as a kitchen hobby to being $1 million brand, by the time she was 15 years old. And that was indeed a wild experience. And one of the things that I talk to parents about all the time is we need to really understand how to lean into our children, listen to our children, and connect our children, right?
Yeah.
So even at 9, 10, 11, 12, it took me a little while, because I was like, I was still thinking like the world, like, is this really real? Is this even possible? I was believing her, her teachers and everybody else around, thinking that, she needed to be a regular kid. She needed to be normal, whatever the heck that means. And then one day I was just like, you know what? She loves this. This thing, whatever this is, I wasn't really sure what it was going to grow into in the moment. This could literally change our lives if I pay attention and I lean into it and I accept the challenge. So that's what I did. I decided, we had a family meeting and we were like, you know what, we're going to create our own normal. We're going to figure out how to do this on our own. Not just for Xandra, but it went from just Xandra's dream and idea, my child's idea, to being our family brand. So that's what led me to Raising a Mogul, which is my, and Legacy Brand Creators, which is my agency, my micro agency, and consulting and coaching other kidpreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and families, because it's hard to just talk to the child and not involve the whole family. It's went from being my passion to really my purpose. This is what I'm doing. I retired from my fancy corporate job to work for my 16-year-old daughter. My mother still can't believe it. Like, everyone's like, have you lost your mind? And for a minute, I was like, okay, all right, because she wasn't paying me for a while, but we figured it out. I started my own business, so I was like, you know what? We did create a blueprint. Let's see how else we can help, right? So we went back to get some other people, and that's really what the mission is. So I'm just really excited about the fact that I get to do this work. I believe in young people's dreams. I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in family business. I believe that we can create our own normal. So anytime I have an opportunity to talk about that, to support that, to leverage that, to expand that, count me in.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all your hard work and dedication to the space and overall. So appreciate you.
Thank you.
Zandra. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? I'm backstage.
We see you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? I was typing. My devices, for some reason, does not like StreamYard today. So I keep me off. So I'm like now on my phone, but it still keeps bumping me off. So my apologies if it breaks up or if I get kicked off again. But yes, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you fine. So how are you doing on this Sunday afternoon?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling relaxed, which is great,
Awesome.
which is not normal. So
so why don't you tell the audience about obviously who you are, your business, and then your role in this initiative.
Yes. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Xandra Cunningham. I'm born and raised out of Buffalo, New York, and I'm also the founder and CEO of Xandra Beauty, which is a premium skincare company that I created at the young age of 9 years old. My products are in stores across the nation, and we really create products that are for girls and women across the globe to educate and empower them while maintaining, plant-based and using certified organic ingredients inside our products. Now, my contribution to the program is that I am a co-facilitator with my mom, and I had an amazing experience. We're not finished yet, but so far, like I feel like through our virtual sessions, and which can be kind of tricky. I feel like typically when you hear virtual, the idea of virtual sessions, you kind of feel like it was like, can be a little bit impersonal or it's harder to connect with people. But I feel like the group that kept showing up and all the kids that joined, well, I don't want to say kids because no one was kids, but all of the participants and the youth that joined, I felt a connection to them. And then by the time that we showed up for our first in-person session, it kind of felt like right at home, like we created our own little family that we were able to, work and grow with. And, like my mom said earlier, that we were able to actually take constructive criticism and really just empower one another. I feel like we created a safe space where we were able to be like, well, I had no idea I can do this. Or maybe we like this idea, but maybe let's try to think about it this way. Maybe like turn the camera around, or maybe say it this way, or because that one sounds better. So I feel like everyone had really good input and was very, very supportive. And I think that's really, really crucial, especially being a young entrepreneur. And sometimes it can be overwhelming when there's not a lot of people doing what you're doing, and you can kind of feel lonely, like you're the only one. But to create and have a support system like the one we've created with the program has been really, really good to witness and be a part of.
And what's one takeaway? Like what's kind of stuck in your mind just these last few months with those group of individuals? What was one takeaway you got from it?
The biggest takeaway was how humble and honest everyone was, but about the stages they are within their business. I feel like even if somebody probably felt intimidated, which I said in the beginning of the call, where I'm just a little bit nervous or I'm not really sure, by the end of the call, they didn't really feel that. I feel like each and every member that did participate was very encouraging and intentional about all the things they added and said. And I think sometimes when you're not sure about something and you kind of feel like, I don't really know what I'm doing. When you're starting to creating a business, like you can, that's really like open and vulnerable. And sometimes you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just trying to figure things out. And sometimes it's nice to be around and create a community of people to be like, we see you, we support you, and let me know what you need. And I'm here to give advice and help you along your journey. So I feel like everyone was very, very encouraging and supportive. And I think that was my biggest takeaway.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for helping us out for our first pilot program, and hopefully you can join us next year.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Dr. K, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I'm good now. Just like Zandra,
Awesome.
I was having a bit of some technical difficulty, so I think I'm good.
So why don't you tell the audience a little about who you are and your role, and something about the program, and then obviously talk a little bit about the pitch program.
All right, perfect. So again, my name is Dr. Clement Kwachi. I am the program coordinator for the Empower716 Young Entrepreneurship of Color Award ceremony, as well as the Young Entrepreneurship of Color program. As Robert just mentioned, this year was the pilot program where we met with our young entrepreneurs, focused on entrepreneurs from grades 8th to 12th grade. Who already had a business and was kind of operating that business and just needed some guidance and support in terms of how to grow their business. And also those who maybe had a business idea but didn't quite know exactly how to get that business off the ground. So that's where this program comes in at, right? Being able to provide them with the resources that they need, with the support that they need, teaching them the fundamentals of how to start a business and how to operate a business, and just overall how to become successful entrepreneurs in their entrepreneur journey. So meeting a couple of times every month, kind of going through different fundamentals, different strategies in terms of running a business, and then culminate into what we have coming up, our pitch contest, where they're going to utilize all of the insights, all of the information that they've gained throughout the program to continue to revise and extend their business plans, where we'll be having the pitch contest that's coming up on April 9th at the Northland Workforce Training Center from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. So again, each of our entrepreneurs, we met last week, Tuesday, to do our pitch prep. They all, are ready to go. They're excited about the pitch contest coming up, and they'll have an opportunity to highlight their business, to showcase their business in front of their friends and family, and also in front of the Buffalo community. So again, the pitch contest is this coming Wednesday, April 9th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. At the Northland Workforce Training Center. So if you're available, I definitely encourage you to come out to support our young entrepreneurs. They've been working very, very hard on their businesses. And this is also an opportunity for them to network with some of the leaders in the Buffalo community while working, throughout their entrepreneurship journey. It's a big deal for them, right? It's a big deal.
Yeah.
They've been working hard, and this is a chance for them to really show off everything that they've been working hard towards. And not only that, but they also get an opportunity to win $1,000, guys, $1,000. Yeah, as seed funding, to help them with their business, to help grow their business, and for those who don't already have their business operating, to help them get their business off the ground. So it's a very big deal for our young entrepreneurs. I'm excited for them. I'm very proud of them, and I look forward to this program in next year to motivate and inspire more entrepreneurs to do good things in the Buffalo community and leave an impact.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for the work you've done, and you really taken this initiative to the next level. So appreciate you and everyone for helping in it. So again, for the pitch contest, I don't know, do we have that photo image of the pitch contest? It is April 9th, and it's going to be, I believe, 6:30. Is it 6:30?
Yep, 6:30 to 9 p.m.
6:30 to 9 p.m.
Mhm.
at the Northland Training Center. So that is free. So anyone is welcome to come. So we're going to go to the comments. So we do have our first giveaway, and it's Jalen Chandler.
July.
I'm messing up, butchering somebody's name. Jelon Chandler. Did y'all text somebody to give them the answer?
No, this is a surprise. I said, oh,
Do you know?
I do.
Oh, okay. Why don't you, will you read it for us? Why don't you read this question?
Yeah, so his answer was to use your 9 to 5 to build your business, work both your 9 to 5 and your part-time entrepreneurship until it's full time.
So let's talk about that. What is that like? How do you feel about that?
I think that was a great answer to the question, because a lot of the times when you're first starting out, like building up your business and stuff like that, it'd be fun, but I think you experience the most challenges. And I think that when you go into your business, you naturally just want to go all in and completely focus on entrepreneurship, but you'll be dead broke, child. For real. So, you got to make money in order to spend money, so I think that this is a big one, because a lot of entrepreneurships want to quit their jobs immediately. And I think that's one of those things that kind of really help you balance your business, for real, because you got to have some funding coming from somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, it got to be something, savings account, job, parents, something, but dreams with no work, faith with no work is dead. So it's like, I thought that was a really great answer for the question, because when I be wanting to quit, wanting to quit sometimes, because I be like, I don't want to work no job. You know what I mean? But you ultimately find your middle, for sure. Okay.
Anyone else want to chime in on that?
I would say definitely. I actually just 3 months ago, I just started working at Delta Sonic. So the money has been rolling in, but it's also been rolling out very fast. So, but it's helping me, especially with my mom being a big help and support to me, both financially and just with herself being a business owner. So knowing the knowledge and the insight, she's definitely just stack, because it's going to be going just like that with also having a business. So definitely.
To add as well, I think the stack part is really important, but I need us, when we're in these 9 to 5s, to also take advantage of the resources that they're giving us. And I say that because when I was working at Chick-fil-A for 5 years, I wanted to work my way up to be a leader. And I remember the owner of that restaurant would come over and say, this is what we made today. This is how much labor was. And then I was like, oh, I want to be a manager. I want to learn the numbers. And so I'm in the system. I'm looking at how much money we made and why we make that much money, and why it's so important if we move cars fast that people are going to feel like there's no line and the more business is going to come in. So I have to make sure. So all of that I learned, and I was like, this is super important for the business. And then people go back to Chick-fil-A, not just for the chicken, but for the service. And so I'm like, when I'm at my fashion shows, I'm like, there's one thing that we do is we walk around with platters and we create such a hospitable environment, because I want I want people to return on the good experience. Wow. And so you want to really learn, like, when you guys are, because I'm still in a 9 to 5, but you really want to learn the ins and out of businesses to apply it to your business, right? And if it's waste, like how much food are we cooking and how much food are we wasting, and what is that divide? Like, why are we making so much here and making so much less here, and what do we need to cancel? What menu item doesn't make the most sense? Let's pull it, because we're spending more money ordering it. Then all of that just adds up. So I think a 9 to 5 is also great resources to learn business. So if you're also at a level of like crew member at like a fast food job or like Delta Sonic, and you're in that stage of 16. I remember I was 16 and I was a team lead, and they were like, everybody, like the 40-year-olds, and they hated me at work. They would, because I had to tell them I was 16 as a team lead, because I wanted that so bad. But understanding, if you're an entrepreneur, don't look at the 9 to 5 as like, I'm just gonna get rid of it. Look at that 9 to 5 at that moment, or some of these entry-level jobs, as I need to learn. I'm still learning, and I'm in a 9 to 5, but especially those businesses that give you, like at New Era, they're not going to give me a lot of the business plans because it's a global brand. But when you're working for some businesses that are really quick to like, all right, we need a manager, take that and learn it and really get as much knowledge as you could from a business standpoint.
I agree. That's really a great point. And I also believe in like finding a 9 to 5 that is relatable to your business in a sense. Like,
I agree.
If you want to be in fashion, what is you working at People Inc. for? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying money not good, job, but I'm just saying, like, that doesn't, there's nothing from that job that you can carry over outside of extended customer service or something like that. Really, being attentive to somebody's needs. So I think it is really important because you will have to work a 9 to 5. You know, I
Yeah.
think it is important to just align yourself with, you know, a job that you can really learn from. So that was a
make
great
it make
point.
sense. Like,
And
if
make
you
it
want,
make sense.
exactly, sense too.
Exactly.
Like, if you want to be in sports, you need to be figuring out what the key banks are hiring for.
Yeah.
Start learning what's going on there. Start meeting the managers. Like, oh, I would love to meet the Pagulas. Like, I don't know, get in those spaces where you really want to learn and grow. I agree. Like, even if it's like it doesn't make sense, entry level, look, you could be a janitor, crewman, like all that. Like, I'm telling you, do it. Start somewhere, but get in that room of like, I know this is my future career, and this is where I want to go. So I agree.
Definitely.
Good points. I want to bring in, I want to call him international, and I think calling him a photographer is not probably does justice, but he is all over the world, creating images, working with corporations across the country, and has been helping us and really committing to this initiative. And I want to bring Eve on. Eve, can you hear us? Hey, sir, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Good afternoon, everybody.
So tell us, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us your business, and then kind of go into what got you involved in this initiative.
Well, it got me involved because of our friendship a number of years ago, and we've done some work together. And our company representing you and your brand. So when you approached me about this initiative, I was really excited about doing it. I love to see young people excel. There is tremendous opportunity, and if someone believes in the heart that they can be great, that is the first step in becoming great, is believing that you can be great. Obviously, the opportunity to help people to elevate themselves has always been my passion in delivering the highest quality. But being a young entrepreneur, you could be as talented as can be from step one. There is one thing that you do not have. It's called experience. You have to go through life. You have to make mistakes. You have to have failures. You have to grow from them. And again, you have to be fearless. And I think the work that you're doing through the young entrepreneurs, I think is so tremendous, because you're bringing so many people from all over this region, and I'm sure also some corporate sponsors that are national, that are providing a great space for these young entrepreneurs to learn. When I was their age, obviously I had the same dreams and aspirations as they did. But I was not fortunate enough to have people like yourself to be able to really teach me. So I grind, I learn, I fell down, I learned all sorts of stuff. And today I'm able to really be doing business globally. Last summer, I was in Hawaii for a couple of weeks shooting for a new division within my company. I spent a week in London, and I'll be traveling at least a couple of times this summer again internationally to really create some more stuff for my company and building up on clients. So obviously, I was really, really excited about the opportunity to do that. I do a lot of stuff in this community, but I stay behind the scenes because I think it's really important for me to do that, because the work that I do is not about me. It is about the outcomes that a lot of the folks that we work with are being able to deliver in being self-sufficient. This community really deals with a lot of trauma for a lot of reasons, right? Especially now after this pandemic. A lot of the young people are just very unsure about who they are, what's going on, connecting with others. Even socially, it's been very, very tough for them. We need to get them impacted. This kind of program gets them back into the room and start touching people again, start shaking hands again, start staying off social media, because that's not really socializing. It is just a means of connecting quickly. But I think that they need to continue to get back into a program like this. And the training that you're doing now is just so incredible. I'm just so proud to do a little bit that I do every year when you allow me to come in and support.
Definitely appreciate your talent, your skill, and your time into this initiative. Talk about just real quickly the branding, and obviously, I see the impact that you do with the images that you provide. But in far as in the business in general, how that has an impact on the growth and the enhancement of a business to have those headshots.
Um, a lot of folks see that as being something that is really not relevant to growth. It is so important. I would say probably it's one of the most important investment a small, medium to large company can put into their business. Number one, it's always very important for you to control your own narrative. So if you leave it open, then you'll let others define who you are, what you do, how you do it, why you do it. So obviously, really being able to introduce yourself authentically the way you want to be perceived is a huge, huge importance. And that is really very important, not only if you're running a small business, you could be 15, 18 years old, 22 years old, or you're running a multi-billion dollar corporation. And you will see between the combination of marketing, branding, and public relations, these areas really put you in a position, number one, to be a solution deliverer, right? If someone and or a potential client has a need, not a want, a lot of people have companies that really have a lot of wants. For me, my business, I really target individuals that have needs because then they're looking for me to come in and listen to what they're going through and create a solution for us to really change the narrative about who they are, why they are in business, and the kind of clients they're looking to connect with to provide solutions with as well. And I think that's why it's so, so important. High-end imagery and telling stories about who you are is so key. Beyond that, you want to connect with the right people. And as you start telling who you are, the kind of look that you put out there, your mindset, your thought process, why you want to solve other people's problems, it puts you in a great position to position yourself in the right place through your imaging, through your videos, through education, through connection with potential clients. I've just been very, very blessed. Part of the things that I've done is really created my own brand. People know who I am. I'm very consistent with it. I'm very diligent with it. And so, I've had the pleasure, I'll be in a room, people will come to me and say, hey, wow, your brand has been so consistent for the last number of years. Can you do something like that for me in my business? So again, we are the face of our companies. We are the story about who we are, what we want, and how we do it. So the idea is to put you in the right position to be able to provide those solutions every day to clients. Then you never have to chase money. You'll be happy every day. Now, having said that, it's not easy. It's a lot of work every single day. You need to put in the work to be successful. But what's going to happen once people know who you are and you're consistent, then it builds trust. And of course, when they have a need, they know you can solve that problem for them. They will directly come to you and be confident to work with you. And so that's why I really think that, branding is one of the most incredible investments you can make in your business. And I'm just very blessed with a little bit of talent that I have. I'm able to create really a company that drives that, not only locally, regionally, statewide, nationally, and now we're doing a lot of work. We do work in Canada. We do work in Caribbean. We do work in Europe. So I'm just very, very blessed to be in that position.
Buffalo, and I would just say the Western New York community is blessed to have you and all that you contribute to this community. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us and
Absolutely.
what you do for this initiative. So definitely appreciate you. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And of course, Robert, anytime that you need something that you think I can be of service to this organization, I am always available to you. The last 3 years has been absolutely amazing. I'm grateful for your leadership in this area because, again, you're focusing on elevating young talent in this region and you're focusing on outcomes. And that is really important. And I think that's why a lot of these families really are supporting this kind of programming and they're excited about the future because the young people are our future.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
My pleasure.
So this, I just want to just give a quick acknowledgement to the corporations and individuals that have poured into this initiative. And so I want to just backtrack a little bit, just talk to everyone who for the first time is hearing this story, is that 2021, we started the Empower716 podcast. And the goal of the podcast was to highlight entrepreneurs and business owners in Western New York, and specifically those of color, and to really talk about the entrepreneurial journey. And from then, we implemented and wanted to basically highlight a young person once a month on a podcast. And so we did that. And then a few sponsors reached out and we started to offer a $500 stipend once a month to those young entrepreneurs. And that evolved into the Young Entrepreneurs Awards, which we started in 2023. And so I'm always looking at how a vision and a mission that you didn't even know, like if you told me 3 years ago this is where we would be, I couldn't, I don't know. And so really just trusting and believing in God and just really listening and being obedient to where he's calling you and directing you. And I think that's so important. And so this initiative, I can't take credit for it. There's individuals, corporations that just really supported this and making it happen. And so we really value and appreciate all of the sponsors who contribute each year to this initiative to make it a reality. Blake, you had a question up on from one of the comments from, I'm going to mess the name up, Antonio Page. Is this from LinkedIn or? So what is your why and why did you start in the first place? And so that's a question for the past and future honorees. Whoever wants to take a stab at that.
I actually just recently was on another podcast and I had talked about this, and that was actually my first time talking about it because I shy away a lot from doing like the heartfelt, sentimental things, you know, just because I'm very talented and I really believe in my talents, you know, and I really work to make sure that I continue to grow. But as my set knows, I had actually started my brand initially when I had lost one of my really close friends. He had a funeral that we knew was gonna eat, y'all. Like we knew that we needed to step. We knew that we had to put it on and do our stuff for him. It was a celebration, you know, more than anything. And I wanted to come different. I wanted to come trim. You know, I was young, and the first thing I decided to do was make me a pair of jeans. And I made a pair of jeans. I posted them things, and
just
Facebook was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," you know. So ever since then, I was really making a lot of products that was surrounding situations like that. Just because, you know, we're not unfamiliar with them circumstances. But at a certain point during my journey, I just kind of realized like I didn't want to be the girl that was making the RIP jeans. You know, I wanted to really develop my own brand and things like that. So I had moved into this space called MMLV. It was short for More Money, Less Violence. And it was actually right in front of the Anti-Gallery. If y'all know, y'all know. Hey, you know, so I was seeing so many talented creatives, you know, coming out of this creative space that was created for us. And my cousin called me and she needed a hoodie for her son. And she told me to just do my stuff. She told me to, you know, let my wildest imaginations run. And sure enough, they did. And when they did, I came up with Undisclosed. So
Wow.
That's
I
my
like
journey.
that. I like that. Anyone else want to explain their why?
My why for why I started my journey was I've always been passionate about just the arts. Even when I was a kid, when I was like 8, I wrote my own cartoon and had a theme song. I wanted to pitch it to like Nickelodeon and Disney. I've always just wanted to be creative. But I think primarily my why is I think it turned from myself to more like what I can do for people around me. And I just always want to give platforms and voices and tell stories. I think I watched this video called The Single Story. And so many creatives, they never get the chance to tell their story. They never get the chance to put their story on platforms. They never get to show their art. They never get the chance to have a voice. And then when they're gone, the single story runs and someone's telling their story for them. And my why has always been giving people platforms and being able to be that support for people. And, you know, in this industry that I've been able to help lead, I think what pushes me even further is people try to still diminish that, right? I've been working way too hard to give people platforms, you know, and I see so many creatives and so many industry leaders here, and they try to minimize that voice for me, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what, you give these people platforms, but I'm not going to give you that platform. And I think that even fuels the fire, and it is a part of why I'm even doing this, is because there's these big businesses, there's these creatives, there's these leaders that really hold resources from underprivileged people. And I think my why is just being able to help people, you know, and I don't know why, but that's just me. So that's really my why. I don't really know. I'm still finding that, but I think that's what makes me more passionate, is developing people, supporting people, helping people, and taking back what's really belonged to us. So I don't know.
Sorry, I just wanted to chime in real quick to his point, because he is not telling a lie. Okay, he might tell you a joke, but he's not telling a lie, you know. And I actually recently mentioned Khalil in my last podcast as well, because I had wanted to give him his flowers, you know, because people do try to diminish the things that you do in the city for whatever reasons, and it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to take a moment to really give you your flowers, child, because you did that, and I've never seen nobody do it until you did it. You know what I mean? So
thank you. And I really appreciate that. And honestly, it sucks though. You know, we're in such a small city, and I hate to make it like that, but it really sucks that my why is being is becoming a demise for not me, because I don't think I'm demising, but it's people's goals to like really make that the story that I'm writing. And my why of getting people these platforms and being for the people is turning into a different story for others. Like I've built such a, like I was just talking to a friend the other day. I'm sorry to just go.
No, you're good. You're good.
And we was at Spot Coffee. Not a friend, it was my cousin actually. And I was like, it frustrates me that I'm an industry leader, but I'm not in these conversations. I'm leading a industry where you guys are having community board meetings and all these things, and I'm not getting included. And it just makes me understand, like, is my why that important? Like, why am I giving these people the platform? Why am I doing this when in return the only platforms I'm getting would probably be you guys? You know, that's why I'm so excited about even being a part of this. But before I get messy, I'm gonna cut it there.
No, that's real. That's real. I definitely can relate to being a pillar in your community and feeling like you don't have a seat at the table, you know. And I think that for me, it doesn't really matter about having a seat at the table for me. You know, like, I understand my whys. I know why I'm doing these things. And I feel like as long as the youth continue to believe in me and that generation that's coming behind me, as long as they keep telling me I'm that girl, as long as they keep showing up to these Saturday academies, as long as they keep, you know what I mean, showing up to listen to me, talk to them and speak life into them, a win is a win.
A win is a win.
Sometimes we don't need to be at every table.
Yeah.
You know, so I ain't mad at it. One thing I know is God. So
exactly.
It's going to be what it's going to be.
Just to wrap it up too, like, I have a lot of peers, and I have a lot of people that do the same thing I do in this industry. And my tagline is Empower the Arts.
Yeah.
and we just donated money for designers at Buffalo State Runway, and they named all the sponsors and they named all the people, and of course my organization was the only one. And I kind of look back and I'm like, I'm not at the tables with these people, but I'm consistently delivering. You know what I mean? I'm consistently giving back. I'm consistently sponsoring.
Wins.
I'm consistently walking. I'm consistently at suicide walks. I'm consistently in the community. But they don't paint us as community, you know.
Yeah.
And we don't give. We're not at the tables with the community members that's giving these other organizations money for community. But that's neither here or there. But understanding that's my why, and I'm here for the people.
One thing, and then I'll let Anita give her take on this, is that it is very important, I think, especially in the space of, I won't just say Buffalo, because I know that's like the easy fix when people say it's Buffalo is the negative vibe, and yes, that could be true, but it's not. We're not the only city that this happens with. And I think,
I agree.
And what you kind of said was that your mindset of your why really has to be for you, because especially when no one is watching, especially when no one is returning your phone calls, or especially when somebody's going out partying and you got to stay in on the weekend and lock in on something, you got to really know your why. And especially when it comes to when you start getting, I would say, shine and getting more attention, it triggers insecurities in other people. And so when people see you act on what you had in your mind and be able to execute, it starts triggering certain people of, why them? Why not me? And they start excluding you on purpose and things of that nature. And so what my encouragement to you is, that's when you got to dig deep in whatever spiritual belief you have, is to go back to that why, because it could get a little overwhelming, especially in the mental space of like, I didn't choose to go down a negative route. I'm choosing to go believe in myself, trying to inspire, try to progress, enhance, and empower other people. And yet I got the criticism, the attacks, the backstabbing, and so I just want everybody to eat. It's enough for everybody to eat.
I promise.
So much.
Like, can we get a camera view on me? It's enough, babes. It's enough. It's enough for you to win. It's enough for me to win. It's enough to see the next person win. It's enough. Don't be that girl. Don't be that guy. Seriously. It's tea time though.
Definitely. I mean, everything was said, but I kind of touched on it a little bit, but I was in a very depressed and dark space, and although I was forced to say these things and speak these things over my life while still being in church and while still leading worship, and I'm actually a granddaughter's I'm a pastor's kid, you can say.
Ain't that wrong?
Oh Jesus. So there was a lot of spotlight on us, but none at the same time, if that makes sense. So I really had to literally dig deep. It was like, your life is not going to end. Your life has purpose, and you're going to live out your purpose. And it's crazy, because actually right now I know that my purpose is to help people. So picking a major in college is where I'm at right now, but definitely to help people is the biggest thing that I'm dealing with right now, because you can't help nobody if you don't help yourself. Because like, people can pour into you, but you have to consistently pour into yourself, because what happens when the people are gone? Because we're not meant here to stay forever. But definitely my why was to help get me out of a place, but to help somebody get into a place that they can be motivated and that they can grind, and to let them know that they can live out their purpose.
I know that's right.
I love it. I love it. So before we talk about our special award, Shara, can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear us?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you first got involved with the initiative, and just some of your thoughts so far, and what you're looking forward to this year.
Okay, so my name is Shara Armpresser. I'm the owner of Natural Beauty Cuties. I first got introduced to this initiative because my son actually won the award last year. He was nominated by, I don't know, unbeknownst to me, who he was nominated by, but I really got involved in this initiative because I love the impact that it has had in his business and also what other young children of color are doing to, just enhance their brand, their business, and what you do to work with those individuals.
Maybe some advice to parents of being a parent of an entrepreneur and being a business owner yourself. So how give some advice on how all that works.
Entrepreneurship is ghetto, right? And if people don't want to talk about the other side of it, the 3 a.m.s that you sit up and you have to work when the world is sleeping. I'm a momager, right? So my son is 14 years old now. He doesn't drive. I have to take him everywhere he has to go. And I have to be in those conversations with him. A lot of times people don't understand what it's like when you run your own business, your son has his business, and then you still have to work to support your business and help to support your son's business. And then you have to make sure, like, even when you are being a mom and this thing, that your son is being treated fairly. So you have to teach them entrepreneurship through this whole path that they're on. So for me, it can be an experience that people don't talk about, the hardships that come with entrepreneurships, when sometimes you're in business and you're working throughout the month and somebody owes you a check, but they didn't give it to you. So now you're following up chasing your money. Or when you think that something is going to go one way, but it might go in a different way. So those are some challenges in business that people don't talk about when they're talking about like this entrepreneur spirit. So I would say advice for people: keep pushing. It's all going to be worth it at the end. You are branding yourself. With me, I'm branding myself. I'm branding my son at the same time. So it's difficult sometimes, but keep pushing through, keep powering through. You got it.
Awesome. So you came back, you were obviously a parent of one of the honorees, but then you came back to join us on the committee. What kind of, what inspired you to kind of help with this initiative?
I think for me, helping to build legacy. So I know with me, I do a lot of business consulting with individuals. People don't know somewhere where to start with business. Being a Black woman is hard. I know Paulette talked about that seat at the table. Girl, folding tables are tables too, right? Building your own table, building your own legacy. So for me, if I could pour back into or impact other people to do the same, that's what I was here for. Knowing that these young individuals have this brilliant mind and they just need somebody to help cultivate it, that's been through the process before, that can share like a blueprint with them, is where I wanted to kind of come in at, and where I wanted to share my knowledge and my experience with them. So those challenges or mistakes that I made in business, it will be a little bit easier for the next generation.
Awesome. Thanks for that advice as well. So you want to share anything about your business before you take off?
So I am doing a relaunch. It's going to be official on May 15th. I needed to get retail ready, so that's a thing. I needed to do barcodes, packaging, and all that stuff. So Natural Beauty Cuties will have a relaunch coming up on May 15th. And then I am accepting new clients for my business consultant. So if you guys are interested in learning and helping me helping you develop your strategic plan, just let me know. And that's where I am. You can follow me on all the social media platforms, just Shara Armprester or Natural Beauty Cuties, and then we can get it together.
So much for joining us, and thank you for all the work you've contributed to this initiative.
Thank you so much, Robert, and thank you, everybody. I'm proud of all of you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a relaunch.
Thank you.
Phenomenal woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's go to we got another question. So another giveaway. So our second giveaway is, how many young entrepreneurs are being honored this year? Okay, so that's the question. So the first, if you put that in the comment, if you're watching,
I say my people better pour in. I know the set is watching. Okay, we got a lot of people in the lineup. All right, they here trying to get them tickets.
Wait, what's the question?
So how many? So how many young entrepreneurs are being honored this year? So that's for a free ticket. So just comment in the chat. So I'm going to transition to since the inception of 2023, we started a special award. And kind of what you talked about, Paula, is about giving people their flowers while they're here. Dennis Wilson, also known as D. Wilson in the community of Buffalo, is one person who is knowledgeable, experienced, owned his own business, graphic designer, Buffalo public school teacher. But one of the things that I admire about Dennis is his passion for empowering other people. Through his events, he brings other people that look like him on board, whether it's a moving company, whether it's another venue services, always in highlighting other entrepreneurs and business owners in this community. And he does it consistently. And so we're going to play a video before I bring him on. We're going to play a quick video of Dennis Wilson.
My name is Dennis Wilson, better known as Mr. D. Wilson. My background is in education. I've been a teacher for 23 years in the Buffalo Board of Education. Graphic designer on Mr. D. Wilson Limited Corporation, which is a graphic design company as well as event planning. And I'm also a restaurateur, co-owner of the Oakland restaurant. I'm a community son, man. I'm Buffalo, born and bred. I think everybody's born with a God-given gift, and my gift is graphic design, bringing people together, doing music and then video editing, and I started doing stuff in the clubs, and that allowed me to be in the club, in the back room, hearing what's going on. By being a creative, got heavy into promotions with the events, and it took off. I was able to create my vision with the graphics. I've been doing events for 20-something years, but these major events that I have, the Miami Nights Presidential All Black is in its 13th year. When you build something, there's a lot of time commitments, sacrifices, but then when it's built, you get the fruit of that labor. I try to create opportunities for people to be successful. So during my events, you have a lot of vendors, you have a lot of talent, bands, DJs, security. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to generate income, make money. It's easy to donate money if you got a couple hours. It's easy, but it's the time, it's the knowledge and creating opportunities for people that's priceless.
All right, so Dennis Wilson to the stage. What's going on, Dennis?
Going on.
Happy Sunday, man. How you doing?
I can't complain at all. Just, enjoying life.
Enjoying life, man. I always, again, as I said before, admire all the work you've done and continue to do in our community. And I was reflecting on the podcast back starting in 2021, and I always say this, is you are the first guest on the podcast, and not knowing what I was doing at that time. So, I reached out to him. He's like, yep, count me in. And so that is something you do with everyone you come in contact with, is always willing to empower others. And so I want to just, get your point of view on this initiative and, just overall, how you feeling?
I love it, man. I love the fact that, when you empower other people, you give other people their flowers and you acknowledge what they're doing. It puts the battery in their back. I was watching earlier and I hear the young lady saying how hard it is. Being an entrepreneur is very hard. There's a lot of stressful nights and it's easy to give up. But sometimes that one time when somebody honors you or somebody acknowledges that they see you, especially people that you don't even know, it kind of keeps you going and it gives you that push you need to get over to those the grunge times, the dark times, or the times of the downslide. Because it always comes back up, but you just need that energy. And hopefully, this program as well as others that acknowledge people, especially young entrepreneurs, it gives them that battery to keep going, as well as it gives them examples of people who have overcame. And we always gonna have to overcome something, and so it's good to see somebody else go through some things and beat it and champion it, and now you can say I can do it too.
Awesome. So the award is named after yourself. So how does that feel? Because I know sometimes people wait till people pass on and honor them. So tell us, what was that feeling like?
It's amazing, man. For me too, sometimes, especially in the restaurant business and the events, you get tired, you get drained, and for somebody to acknowledge you and acknowledge everything you did, that's like, wow. And then to have an award named after you, and I feel like I'm still young, so to be able to get that when you kind of feel like you're still young, you still got the energy, it's like, wow, man, okay. And it gives you that drive to keep going. So I want to get some more named after me. That means I got to do some more work. So it's exciting, man. It's very exciting and honored.
just play a quick clip of the first recipient of the award, Kevin, and we will play it. And I'm just gonna ask your thoughts on just that first the recipient.
You yeah, same thing?
Yep.
So I'm a barber. I'm 19 years old. I've been cutting hair. It's about to be 6 years in October. I have a studio set up off Bailey in Genesee. This is my barber shop. Okay, it's pretty simple. All right, so I got my chair right here. It's something new I just got to not too long ago. Let's take the cape off just to show you guys. This is my station. All my clippers right here. We got a whole bunch of lighting in here because I do film for YouTube. A lot of younger people, they don't like going to the older guys anymore because they don't think that they're gonna give them a certain look that they want, or they're not gonna feel what they're going through or what they have to say. So I feel like a lot of young people come to me because they can relate as far as age. Yeah, it's the way. Being a barber and a YouTuber, balancing out, it's kind of hard and easy at the same time. Balancing it's kind of easy now, you know what I'm saying? I cut hair all day and I edit all night, and then I post it the next day, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be. I found out that I wanted to cut hair after I went to get my hair cut. Multiple times, I just was not getting what I wanted, you know? I was already intrigued and watching the videos on YouTube, and I was like, okay, I might as well just try to do this myself. So I started off cutting my own hair. They roasted me in high school, you know what I'm saying? They was telling me, they was like, bro, you need to stop cutting oil hair, you messing yourself up. And I just ignored it all, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, y'all gonna talk all of this now, but when I get nice, that's just gonna be it. As time went on, I just got better and better, started building my brand. My clientele has been going up since then. Yeah, if I was getting the haircut that I wanted back then, I probably wouldn't be here today. I like making people happy because I'm not really like a people person, you would say. I don't like talking a lot, so if I could make somebody smile or make somebody's day better by making them look better or give them more confidence in their appearance, that's what I like doing.
I was searching for a barber for a long time too.
Yeah.
My barber back in like May, he died. And then nightlife, he had died. And a week later, my brother, he cuts my hair, he had died. And it was in the car accident, I was with him, man. And then I just lost, man. Thank you.
A barber, a lot of people say a barber is like a hood therapist, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it, that's just what they call it. So a lot of people come in, they can tell me things, or even if they don't want to talk, because not a lot of people here, they can come in, it can be nice, peace and quiet, they can get their haircut, be in and out. You can pretty much get a little bit of both, whether you want to talk to me, whether you don't, whether you want to feel safe, because just me and you in here.
It's gonna be $1 million. I meant that too, really inspiring. A lot of people in Buffalo.
They still didn't hit me, bro. I feel like once they hit me,
I feel like you're famous to me, honestly.
Bruh, everybody be saying that. I just like, bruh, I'm not famous, bruh.
You made it big in Buffalo.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
All right, so that was 2023, and then I think last year, 2024, we had Muhammad. So you have two people who've got your award, and this coming year, or actually 3 weeks, will present the next honoree. So what's your feeling on that? And just so you know, the buzz of getting this award, the Dennis Wilson Jr. Entrepreneur Spirit Award, means something, and it holds a lot of weight to these young people. What's your thoughts on that?
I love it, and I love that event is in a transition where every year is getting better. So now this year I get a chance to be involved with the young entrepreneurs and get to really meet them and kind of hopefully build a long-lasting relationship with these gentlemen and hopefully future ladies too, which now it ties us together because we're tied together, but now the natural progression of the award show or the award ceremony, the event in itself now ties all the entrepreneurs and ties us together so we can really help it. and push each other and help each other go to the next level. So that's what I'm very excited about, just the fact to be able to sit down and talk to them and kind of hopefully be a part of their life, be a part of their journey.
Love it. Any advice you want to give the three honorees in the room today?
Be consistent. Just be consistent. Keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, you're in a great platform. You're around great people. Ask questions. Don't be fearful of asking the questions, because a lot of times the answer is right in your phone. It's somebody who they might not know the answer, but they might know who can get you the answer. So that, and just to be consistent, keep doing what you're doing. It's a long process to become successful, and it's not just overnight, and it's just not a short period of time. It's just keep building. So the biggest thing you can do is just keep doing what you're doing and be consistent in what you're doing. Do what you say you're going to do, and keep doing it. And I think everything will happen the way it's supposed to happen as long as you stay consistent in what you're doing.
Well, we definitely appreciate you for that advice and your wisdom and your knowledge, and always continuing to give back and empowering others. So we're definitely we value that you are part of this initiative. So we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Hello.
All right, take care. So I just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge the Challenger News. They do a tremendous job in supporting this initiative, not only as a sponsor, but making sure supporting us and highlighting the young people. And so since the beginning of the initiative, as far as the front feature here in 2023, and then we have 2024. And so next week, Thursday, will be the release of the Challenger, which will feature our 12 honorees. So if you didn't get that, the 12 honorees will be featured on the front page of this coming Challenger. So that is exciting. So we're about 10 minutes out from 6 o'clock. And I just want to open it up for just some conversation and maybe just some thoughts of maybe some advice, but also want to go back to the mental health portion, because I think that's important, because and we talked a little bit about this, of building a community. And I think that, at least from my experience, is there's so many people that aspire to kind of be on the same page, and it's a little harder to find that. Like, if you want to find some negativity, you can find that quick. But to find individuals that can pour back into you what you're giving, and not that you're always looking for that, but you need some like-minded people around you. That is not, there's an individual I used to be around, is like, why are you working so much? Or why are you doing this? And you're like, what? That's just different. So I want to talk about that community and how important it is to have a solid community. And sometimes as I get older, I learn less is better, because you remember, like, when you're in high school, you think being the most popular person, having all the people around you was like the thing. But you realize as you go through life, the more people, the more problems, and you end up with, if I can get at least one or two friends that's solid, that's all I need. So let's just open it up.
I agree with you. First, finding community is very tough. And what's interesting is I was in a position where, unfortunately, I brought a lot of people together, and not unfortunately, but like a year or two ago, I did an event for a bunch of models and designers. We were just trying to do something new, and then random people just came. Random people who never were models before, never were designers before. They just saw this opportunity and said, "This is cool," and it shifted so many friendships, relationships, vibes, and so it was a quote unquote community. But what's so interesting about that community, I'm the type of person that really don't like a lot of people. Like, I like to be by myself, and and when you're trying to be this quote unquote leader, you have to be in these, like, you really have to be in the community, and you really have to be in that community. And it's tough though, because I'm somebody like yourself. Like, I need those one or two solid friends that keep me going. But when you are in this industry, I feel like, Paula, we're in the same industry. You have to be the one. You got to be out there at every event, showing your face. I want to be here. I want to be here. And then when you're not, they paint you as this guy that doesn't want to be around people who just, you know, it creates that villainization. I don't want to bring that up in that sense, but just saying, like, it's really hard to find that community where they understand like space boundaries. When you're in a fresh community like fashion, it's like it's blooming in Buffalo again. And so everybody's expecting to see your face, expecting to see you at your best, expecting you to say hi, say this. And so when you're not there, when you're like, you know, I need to take a few months off and just focus on my craft, it kind of tumbles. So I don't know if you want to talk on that, but I honestly agree though. You know, community is important, but when you're just not, when you're trying to really lock in, it's tough to be that community person, but that's just the business, right? Maybe I'm just rambling. We're all in the fashion community, I feel like.
No, I definitely understand. I've had my trials and tribulations with community for sure. I mean, I could talk all day about community, but you know, first and foremost, I just really want to say shout out to my set because they hold it down, you know, like, and when I say set, that's just short for like my setup, like this my setup, you know what I mean? But shout out to them for real. Shout out to my village because they really like ground me. Yeah. You know, like I feel like fashion is a space that you can be lost in. I think you can get lost in any industry, you know, but I think specifically the fashion, it can feel performative sometimes, you know? So I think that it is one of those spaces that you could lose yourself a little bit, you know, like, especially when people are constantly trying to create their own narratives and things like that about you just based off how you dress, you know, like you didn't even walk in the room and said nothing, but you know, because I look a certain way, you know, people, you know, they come up with their own whatevers, right? But I do think that it is tough to find community, but I feel like once you find your community, like stick with your people, you know, like it's great to go out and network. It's great to, you know, build things and do things of that nature. But I think it's so important to really have those people that just see you. They just see Khalil Wonder. They don't see you as, you know, the executive for Buffalo Fashion Week. You know, they just see Robert Lowry. They don't see you as, you know. So I think it's just really important having those people around you that really can see you, because when you're in the limelight, you can't control the media. You can't control the gossip. You can't control people's perspectives or perceptions of you. And I think the one thing that really just kind of grounds me is knowing that I know that I have a community of people that know me, you know, and you just can't get caught up in social media stuff. Like social media gobbles people up and spits them out like at rates that are unbelievable, you know? So I really do think that, you know, once you just kind of find your people, lock in with them, you know, like you're going to experience a few bumps. You might, you know, might got a homegirl that you thought was cool, might have a homeboy that you thought was gonna hold it down, but it is what it is, and it's a part of your journey. You know, but it's too important to really have an understanding of your community and what your community is made up of, because in real life they're gonna be the ones to remind you, you know, who you are in and outside of your success. So I agree for sure.
Definitely. Currently, I'm still becoming and, you know, navigating life right now as it is. But I don't really I'm very antisocial. Me and my whole family is. So like even just talking like this, like my nerves. So, but I don't have friends, and I know that's like you're young. You know you should be having friends, things like that. But I've experienced and I've encountered a lot of different people, and so I'm still learning who like my people is. But my family is, you know, that's my people is right now. So you know they push me to do what I can and to be the best that I can be. Each and every person in my house is an entrepreneur, from my parents down to the youngest one. Who knows? Maybe my mom might even make her dog an entrepreneur. Like, so we all get to push each other. So I definitely love that for us.
Okay. So as all of you were talking, one of the things I was going to talk about, well, all of you said, like, I'll talk about the introvert. I wrote a book, and this is not a shameless plug on the being an introvert. But one of the things that I was experienced through my life and my journey was I was the quiet type at the table. And so I didn't have the charisma. So there were points in my life where I felt I had to be performative, to try to be loud, and it wasn't me, and it was just going against my personality. Like, and it took me a while to really find my space, and especially with all the things I wanted to do, just goes against everything that my personality. So speaking, just like you said, being on a podcast, and like, this doesn't fit my personality. But one of the things that most of you all stated in here is that balance. And I always use and I don't like to use entertainers, but this is just for an example. Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? They're billionaires. And one of the things that I actually admire about them is that kind of like when you go through life, is they kind of pick and choose when they want to speak. And you kind of have that distance. And as entrepreneurs, I kind of learned this on my path, is that I don't have to be at every place. I don't have to be at every event. I don't have to, because sometimes having an absence and not being present gives you this kind of a difference, because I see everybody just spends a lot of their time and energy on the performative, but then when you get to the work part of it, the quality suffers. So you have to pay this balance into your work. And most of you that talked about this in the experience, customer experience is everything. And to me, my word, if I say I'm going to get something to you in 2 days, I'm gonna do my best to give you in 2 days.
In a day and a half.
Right.
Okay.
So that's important, but also not being in every space is important, because I'm attuned to spirits as well. So every vibe may not be your vibe. And sometimes less actually is better. Because I have got opportunities where people have reached out to me versus me just going into every space. And so one of the things I always tell people, there was points where I felt like I had to go to every event, every weekend there was a different event, and now I'm paying to be in the space. And now I'm kind of learning that you don't have to be at every space. And it's important to have that balance of it. And so that's something that resonated with me of the things that you all said. But let's do a final takeaway. And I know we have one question, right? What's the other question for the giveaway? So what's one word to describe young entrepreneurs today? If you can comment, one word to describe young entrepreneurs today. But maybe we'll go around and just do last takeaways, anything as far as your business-wise you got going on that you want to share, or any advice you want to share that you haven't already. I'll start with Anita.
So I just want to say that this just motivated me. I'm the youngest one in here. And this is usually how it is with a lot of things that I'm invited to, or that I'm just at. I'm always the youngest, but it always motivates me. My mom always, she always had to tell me, like, you don't know everything. So it's good to get knowledge and wisdom from other people. And so this is like I'm being poured into right now. So what am I going to be able to take away from it and go home and go back to my business and do? So this definitely motivated me, and it made me more excited for in 3 weeks. So thank you guys so much for even having me and considering me. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make a quick point that quick talking point on what you said, because I actually ripped a page out of my Auntie B book. And I love how they say nothing. I love that.
Yeah.
People have no idea how much self-control and how much power you have to be quiet, especially in times where people are looking for you to say something.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I know about God is that, a good time to be quiet is when you're upset. And I think that people are not mindful of things like that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make that small point that you made, because I mean, I'm young, I'm in entertainment, you know what I mean? But like, I think that that's something that I really do like idolize about entertainers like that, because like I say, you could be so easily gobbled up in social media and just the media in general, like, it's so hard for people to tell the difference between what's real and what's not. And most times people don't even care, like, there's so many things being, processed through social media. It's like, it's here today, it's gone tomorrow. It's just something to talk about today and not tomorrow, So I just a little piece of advice that I want to give just off of that sentiment is like, some of y'all really need to be quiet for sure. Like, it's okay to be quiet. Like, it's okay to not know the answer. You know what I mean? It's okay to take time to sit back and process your emotion to generate a thought that's actually meaningful, you know, or real, or just your own truth, you know? So I just wanted to add my little sentiment on that for real. But outside of that though, you know, y'all can tap into the girl for sure, because we're actually getting ready to go public with our creative house. So we're going to be we're going to be introducing everyone to all of our members, actually.
Wow. Okay.
So the beginning of the house will be introducing you guys and some of y'all favorites too. So make sure y'all stay tuned on us, because we're definitely spilling the tea. And also make sure y'all look out for our spring drop. It's going to be heavy for sure. And yes, because I'm gonna be honest, y'all, we're bleeding out with merch this year. Like, one thing I really appreciated was I was probably one of the most talked about designers last year, and I didn't even drop. Wow. So y'all better believe that we're coming with the tea, we're coming with the smoke, we're coming with the energy. All right. So please look out for that. We'd love to see y'all express y'all UND, seriously. And outside of that, I just really want to say thank you so much for having me. Like, thank you so much for just taking a moment to, you know, get a girl her flowers. You know, like, sometimes I feel like I be passing out so many flowers. I be thinking like, hey, when y'all gonna call y'all sister girl, you know, but that's all right, because one thing I don't play about is planting no seeds for sure. So I let it keep my own garden, you know what I mean, and pick conveniently when I need to. So I just really, really appreciate y'all for appreciate all of y'all for taking the time to just acknowledge the girl. For real, I'll be working hard, you know. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Congratulations to both of you. This award is definitely something that's been something memorable for me. So enjoy it, utilize this opportunity, and maximize as much as you could. But what I have going on right now is I have a show coming up. We have Buffalo Fashion Week, which will start April 28th to May 3rd. Our show is going to be on the 3rd. We're going to do a bunch of events throughout that time. I would love if you guys came and see. We're almost halfway sold out and 30 days left to the show, which I'm very blessed, because I keep being able to say those words. So thank you for that. I appreciate you for letting me come on the show and consistently keep me involved. And to everyone, advice I have for anybody up and coming, just do it. Get involved, be a part of things, be the author in your story. You know, don't let anybody else write it for you. Paula, you said a lot of great things, but we'll talk about it after, because I totally agree. We'll be here all day. But also at 16, I remember I was starting my business as well, but you're very well spoken. You have such a great people around you. I agree. You have so much resources. Please use those. Like you said, you are really into it with God. I am as well. I don't want to really just go too deep, but really keep going. You know what I mean? This is the message. This is, he wants you here for a reason. You are here for a reason. And I'm totally inspired by you sitting here, keeping a conversation with people older than you, and you're still in high school. What are you, a sophomore, freshman?
Junior.
Look at that, at 16. So understanding you are still at the stages of like where people think they're not ready or not yet focused on what they want to do, and you're very focused. So congratulations, and continue your journey. And
thank you.
Very admirable. But thank you, Rob. I appreciate it.
Appreciate all of you. So we have what's the name? So we have innovative, zealous, and resilience. What's the best one? What's the best word? You want to do innovative or resilience? What's your feel?
I don't remember the question, unfortunately. What was it?
I'm gonna go with resilience.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
What was the question again, Blake?
To describe one word to describe a young entrepreneur.
One word to describe.
Dang, it's kind of hard though. I don't know, y'all.
That is tough. Innovative, yeah.
I kind of feel like they both deserve that. It's so neck and neck, you know. Like,
yeah, no,
you
that's
really
true.
do have to be resilient.
Yeah.
You know, you really have to be resilient to, you know, be an entrepreneur. But we don't talk about innovation enough. Like, especially in the fashion industry, everything feels so copy and paste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
everything.
We're not acknowledging, you know, individuals that show up in industries and really introduce innovation. You know, like, I feel like we're not getting our flowers. Yes, we're not getting our flowers on that. You know, it's so easy to see something and just be like, okay, I'm gonna change it a little bit, because you really only got to change something 5% in order for it to be yours. You know, so you know, I think they both deserve it. Like, those are so neck and neck.
I agree. So that's both winners. Since we got a few left, so anyway, so we'll give innovative and resilience a win. So, I just want to, as far as just closing remarks, I think all of you said. I'm not going to repeat everything you said. It was really great contribution to this conversation. Not to go in deep, as you said, Khalil, not to get too deep, because I'll be like, wow. I have to give God, and I know sometimes people say, oh, don't say God, but I don't apologize for that. But the vision of what he deposited into my spirit for this again, and to see the impact. I tell everybody the process sometimes when you have to stay up and on top of the work you already got going on, and to try to organize an event, and you're like, okay, oh, this is a lot of work, and this. But when I hear the stories, and sometimes these are, you can't measure this on a graph or Excel, the true impact of what you do, sometimes you see it and sometimes you won't. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they talked about like watching certain things I've done, but they've never commented, never liked. I would have never knew this person until they actually came to me and said it to me. And the words that they stated to me was like, wow. It made me think about something totally different. A year ago, I had to write in one of my classes, we had to write to ourselves as someone in the audience who didn't speak to us, who didn't talk to us, and what will we say to ourselves? And I had to write this whole probably about 100 words of what I would say to myself. And that was just powerful. Like, to keep going, be encouraged. Somebody is watching you, your trials, your tribulations, and learning from some of your mistakes, the process. And this is where I'm going to leave you with is, I thank God on a daily basis of self-reflection and self-awareness.
Absolutely.
Because some individuals are operating in autopilot and not having an opportunity to self-reflect, not living a perfect life, but be able to go back and reflect, like, how can I improve this? Where do I need to improve in myself? Did I handle that conversation right? Did I handle that business transaction? Did I handle my family this way? How can I maneuver? How did I handle my communication? Was I slacking on this? And so there are some individuals who walk every single day and don't have that whereabout or the ability to self-reflect, and how important that is, especially in business, because you got to know how to pivot when things ain't going right. This product is not where it needs to be, or am I in it for the wrong reasons? And be able to have that self-reflection and adjust, which is so important. And I value that every day, because I realize not everybody has that. And to have the ability to be in that space, to be able to say, you know what, Rob, you could do this different. The way you're not motivated enough. And every time I fix my mouth to complain about something, I have to redirect it and be grateful for the things that I am and my mindset and the space that I am. So celebrating the next generation of Western New York business professionals and entrepreneurs, it is not something I take lightly, because I realize it's an important piece. And everyone that I talk to who supports this initiative is for the right reasons. And when I see young people who look like me, who came from environments, I'm from Niagara Falls, and we didn't have a lot, still don't have a lot. having food stamps and being laughed at in the store, and coming from a certain place, realizing not having that voice and not having a community at that time. And so how important it is to invest back into our young people is something that I believe in. And I believe that everyone from the sponsors to the partners also believe in that same thing. And so I have learned from each of you who contribute to this conversation, because one of the things is, if you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. And if you think you always the smartest person in the room, cut your ego. And no matter how young you are, whether you're 16, there's something that I can take away and learn from. If not, then I'm in the wrong place. What's the point of being alive if you can't learn from somebody else? And so I appreciate each of you and what you do, because you inspire me as well to continue this initiative and to drive home and to work tirelessly of why we have to celebrate and honor young people like yourself. And so I appreciate all of what you contribute and what you continue to do, and keep going no matter what, because you are encouraging somebody, whether you know it or not. Okay. So that's my spin. That's my
keep going.
Yeah. So this has been a episode. Our podcast, and I'll tell everyone, I haven't done a live episode in 2-3 years, and so we used to do lives all the time, and so I forgot how much work it is, but it is definitely worth it. And so thanks for locking into another episode of Empower 716. Make sure, if you have not purchased a ticket, go to Empower716.com, Empower716.com to purchase your tickets. There are only about 50 more tickets left, so it's going to get sold out. We get sold out every year, and it's going to be a nice event honoring 12 honorees. It's going to be at the One Seneca, April 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make sure you're there. The dress attire is business casual, or however you want to come in. I want to wear some sneakers and jeans and call it a day. But so make sure you come out and celebrate these young entrepreneurs in Western New York. So that's it. That's all we got.